How does the Zashi Flexa integration protect consumer privacy?
Great question. So wallet developers today have a number of options when it comes to enabling payments for their customers. They can enable payments at merchant locations that would natively accept a particular chain like Zcash. They can enable payments by setting up a credit card or debit card partner, or they could use something like Flexa. Of those, the native payments are probably the most onerous and the most precarious. It makes for a number of different compliance and regulatory questions that I think are still unanswered, both on the merchant and the consumer side. The credit card and debit card approach is the most privacy invasive. All of us who have signed up for a debit or credit card know all the information that we have to put on that credit card application form or the debit card bank account opening form. And it is onerous. Who's your spouse? What's your social security number? Where do you live? What's your full legal name? All of this information gets collected and then gets stored and used against all of our future payments. What a lot of people don't realize as well is some of it is actually encoded in the card itself. And if you were to get a magstripe reader off of eBay or Amazon and swipe your card, you'll see your name in the card, which means your name is actually traveling with you every time you make a payment. Online, it gets worse, where other types of data fields are sent across, and certainly billing addresses are a problem because they're an ill-conceived solution to trying to secure payments that came about many, many decades back as the internet was first evolving. How do we secure online payments when we don't have more information or more pins to secure it with? We have the name and address at the top of a bank statement. Okay, great. So now you're sending someone's home address along with every single transaction to every single merchant that someone pays. This is ludicrous. So in terms of protecting consumer privacy, I think what the Flexa SDK does and what this integration that we've built with Zashi does is it eliminates all of that. There is some information that Flexa is legally required to collect, and we have gone to literally the laws themselves to parse out exactly what is the minimal amount of information we can collect on behalf of a customer. We collect that, we keep it, we don't do anything with it other than what we're legally obligated to do, and we certainly don't share it with Zashi or with UCC or with any of the merchants you pay. And so what's cool about that is it solves the question of, when I'm making a payment at this store, am I going to be able to be tracked across to this other store or tracked over to this other brand that might be owned by the same company? And the answer is no. Every single payment that a merchant processes via Flexa looks exactly like every single other payment that a merchant's processed, unless you share things like your email address or your loyalty account with the merchant. And we think that's the way it should be. We've been working on a lot of ways to even further obfuscate those transactions, but to give you an example of how much we care about privacy and personal data, we don't even store IP addresses. We don't do anything more than what we have to do with the information we collect, and we're very transparent about when that information gets shared. We post an annual transparency report that shares publicly what information requests we've received from various government agencies. We care a lot about trying to fix this problem of private personal data getting shared. And I think it does go back to the Cypherpunk manifesto and this idea of electronic money and the storekeeper not needing to know anything about me if I want to buy a magazine, for example. So that's how we are working to really, really protect the privacy of anyone who's making payments.